Hello, and welcome to what may be my most controversial video. The title explains it all, and let me say this before I delve any deeper into this video. No, I'm not a Spinosaurus fanboy. T-Rex is my favorite dinosaur, but I'm also not a Rex fanboy. I am a dinosaur enthusiast. That being said, I know T-Rex has the superior bite and weight, but I also acknowledge that these two will never have met in actuality. You know, being separated by not only continents but millions of years of evolution. Now that we've addressed that, I'll start this video by saying that due to the nature of the film and how screenwriting goes, or how storytelling in general goes, that the T-Rex had to lose to the Spinosaurus because the audience needed to know how serious of a threat it was. Let's take wrestling as an example. If you want to establish this newcomer as a threat, he has to show that he can contend, correct? So how does he do that? He takes down one of the heavy hitters, a well-known and popular wrestler. In the Spinosaurus' case, the only heavy hitter to contend with were the Rexes. Dilos and Raptors are dangerous, yes, but they're too small, and the only other carnivore we see visually on Sorna is Ceratosaurus, and that isn't a favorable matchup either. So, for the writers, the T-Rex was the only choice. What needs to be understood is the year was 2001. We were just coming out of the late 90s, and we were still in the mindset that the bigger the carnivore, the more dangerous it is. Spinosaurus at the time was the largest carnivore in existence, and if you ask me, reconstruction or not, it still is. The thing is damn near 50 feet long in some estimates. Jesus! But in those early days, most people were sure Spinosaurus was the baddest kid on the block. One thing people have to remember is that the dinosaurs are not scientifically accurate, and honestly, they were never meant to be. If that was the case, they wouldn't need to replace the gaps in the genome sequence with other animals, correct? The Jurassic franchise is a science fiction story, so inaccuracies are to be expected, especially if you read the book. See, I think this whole scientific accuracy thing started when more discoveries about prehistoric life was being made. Differences between them and their movie counterparts became more apparent. So what does this have to do with the topic of the video? I'm glad you asked. You see, the inaccuracies of the dinosaurs has always been a running theme for the franchise, even if it isn't always outright stated. It allows for them to do things that a normal dinosaur most likely wouldn't do. These inaccuracies are intentional as to make the dinosaurs grander than what they are. Take the Dilophosaurus for example. It doesn't spit venom or possess a large frill for intimidating purposes, but these added effects make the Dilophosaurus just a bit more frightening. That's the science fiction that played here. Now, Jurassic Park 3 tried to make use of said science fiction that was present in the first film but absent in the second. This was translated poorly due to the fact of the bad writing the film had. Okay, so going back, we're first introduced to the Spinosaurus after Grant and company land on Isla Sorna, with the Kirbys at the time searching for their lost son Eric under the guise of wanting an aerial tour of the island. The Spinosaurus is encountered in the jungle by Udesky, Nash, and Cooper, who shoot at it as they run back to the plane. As they try to take off, Cooper runs out onto the runway, only to be grabbed by the Spinosaurus, and for the Spinosaurus to subsequently get hit by the propellers of the plane, causing said plane to crash into the tree, where the Spinosaurus knocks them down from the tree and proceeds to destroy. It chased them into the jungle, where our survivors encounter a T-Rex, which is stated to be a subadult, but it's really not, and this is where the biggest controversy in the franchise starts. As you can recall, the Rex chases the group back towards the Spino, and the two begin fighting. The T-Rex gets the upper hand, but the tides quickly shift, leading to his death. This one scene sparked a debate so heated, the fires are still burning even now, almost 20 years later. Admittedly, even I was heated by the outcome because I was applying real-world logic to it when I should have not been doing so, because the movie shows why the Spinosaurus won that fight, and it's not because the T-Rex was a subadult, which again is a lie. There is no such thing as a 37-foot subadult T-Rex. That is a full-grown animal, albeit a bit smaller than some specimens, but full-grown nonetheless. Anyway, the next scene we get in regards to the Spinosaurus is not the fence scene, but the embryonic lab scene. This is where we, the audience, is supposed to learn some crucial information. From the shots we are given, it can be seen that the room has the same egg nurseries that we've seen in the first Jurassic Park. But then we see some other disturbing things. There are these tubes, and in these tubes are young dinosaurs floating in this green liquid. We see two animals floating in this liquid, a baby hadrosaur and a baby Spinosaurus. Or something which I always assumed to be a Spinosaurus. But it actually turns out that it's a baby T-Rex in actuality. Now, remember, these dinosaurs are already engineered with DNA from so many different animals before they are even born. So what purpose would it serve to have them placed in these tanks? The simple answer was experimentation. This is something that gets confirmed when Jurassic World was set to release, and we get a bunch of backdoor information about dinosaur experiments, especially in regards to Jurassic Park 3 with the Spinosaurus being called that accident we left on Sorna. In Jurassic Park 3, we the audience were somehow expected to put two and two together from the little information we gathered that the Spinosaurus and some other species of dinosaur were experimented on. In Jurassic World, we find out the experimentation lasted 9 months for the usage of hybridization, but we don't know what exactly was done to them. Looking back at the film, it can obviously be inferred that the Spinosaurus received augmentations that boosted its strength and aggressiveness, as well as receiving some sort of skin toughness modifications that allow it to tank bullets from guns but also withstand the bite from a T-Rex. It was these modifications that led to his victory because, like Dr. Grant said,
now what John Hammond and InGen did at Jurassic Park is create genetically engineered theme park monsters, nothing more and nothing less.
This would explain why it tanked a hit from an airplane, because it had the intensive repair modification. The aggressive instincts modification is what let it rip the plane apart. Also, the bone density modification alongside the previously mentioned intensive repair and skin toughness modifications is what let it bust through the steel fence with spiked barbs at the top with absolutely no problem. It explains a lot about the animal in the movie and the way it behaved. Although, I also believe that due to being subjected to experiments for over 9 months at the hands of humans gave the Spinosaurus a hatred for mankind, and that's why it was hell-bent on chasing Dr. Grant and the Kirbys throughout the whole island. But there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, the real reason the Spinosaurus beat the T-Rex. I'm not saying that people aren't entitled to their opinions about the film, but it was shown to us in the film as to why the fight ended the way that it did. It could have been translated more better with a few more shots of things in the room, like papers saying something along the lines of amalgam testing, or showing various growth charts or result test sheets, something that would better communicate what exactly was going on in that lab before the events of Jurassic Park 3. It was always intended for the Rex to lose this fight because the writers wanted to showcase what was thought at the time to be the most badass carnivore to ever walk the planet. They just didn't expect to get the response they received from the fans. Once again, if the embryonic lab scene was translated more properly, maybe, just maybe, things would have turned out more differently. I'd like to thank a lot of you for tuning into this video, and I love to hear your thoughts in the comments down below. As always, everyone, stay safe, wear a face mask, and please practice social distancing. And I'll be seeing you all later.